Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap. It is Wednesday and another day down, another day towards actually the financial festival. So this will be my last video before I head out to Miami tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be seeing a lot of you guys out there where we could talk strategy. We're going to have like 20 some odd speakers going over every different aspect of the market, as well as just hanging out by the pool if the weather is nice or not. Friday night dinner, Saturday night big event. So all in all, actually a really good time to get away, because at this point I feel, for me, the market's in one of those spots where, I came in long, like 4 longs and a hedge, and today I pretty much worked out of most of my longs into strength, and then also made some money on the cute side, short side. And at this point I'm finding it hard to find great setups that I think the risk reward is there. So I feel like maybe taking a step back and booking the week and heading out to Florida would be a little bit better. So anyway, look at the chart, you'll see that the trend in the S&P has been devastating to some shorts out there. Guys who have just been shorting the whole way up have been probably hating life. This is your double bottom that we saw in the market. The low in August, the retest with a bit of a higher low, and then on that sour jobs report, they bought it, and then we cleared the pivot, and that was your green light to say, what, maybe we could be long things. Then you saw a little follow through, right? That's when we took back the 8 and 21 day and paused right ahead of old resistance. And then here you had a push above, came back, retested, and fast forward, we've been above the 8-day ever since, which has been a very strong trend that is still intact. I'd love to see a little bit of a retest again down to here, because buying the 8-day feels better than paying up at elevated prices. But if it doesn't come in, go sideways, it catches up, then we'll see how that continues. Overall, this stair step that we've seen in the spiders and the S&P has been, so impressive. The bulls haven't let the bears have a second to breathe. Maybe today, we'll see. I'm actually net short overnight. I'm short the spiders, and I'll figure out what happens. If we gap up tomorrow 10 handles, I'll be like everybody else that probably started shorting here or here. But there wasn't really that many clues to be short. You look across the board, market pulled in. Amazon, best in breed, went sideways, held, boom, to the upside. Google listed that also on my note, talked about this little spot for an extra cash flow trade, and and if you did it, you got it. I came in long Apple. I sold my Apple in the first 5 minutes of the day, if you're on the VTF, because I said I think that they might pull it back for ex-dividend, and as well as just because what they do is when they start the week, they run it so people buy higher priced options, and then they usually pull it back a little bit, so then everyone who paid the premiums for the 123s, 124s, etc., they go worthless and the dealers win. For me, I've been in it pretty much since earnings. So today, when it couldn't get above and stay above this 123.50, I got out of it, and I also tweeted it for full disclosure, and now we'll see what could be next here. But this went red first, and we'll see if there's any downside to it. I think I'm not exactly sure where I'd like to be a buyer of this, but maybe a little bit closer to 120. We shall see. Facebook did come out after the close. I am sitting in Facebook options. I did go long the options here on this little red dog reversal. Okay, right around this 101.18 pivot. I'm not sure what it's going to do. Some guys just made some real quick money, as I talked about the pivot being 105. Once it went above 105, you had a really quick trade as high as almost 110. Okay, and I think option guys are pricing in a $6 move, so 104 to 110. There you go. I don't know exactly what it's doing now, if it's going to hold or not, but the numbers were good. The guidance was good, and it's been a great trend. I don't take stock into numbers, and I didn't trade it after. I'm just going to sit in the options. I almost shorted the 109s just to lock in a $9 option, which I think I bought for $3. But I'm just going to let it work itself out, and I'll figure out tomorrow morning what the story is there. As far as other names, Tesla, gapped up after earnings and, held in there. Maybe Tesla's reborn, which would be great. It'd be nice to have another go-to stock in the mix. But at this point, has a big gap up. Maybe let it digest above this, and then you'll see whether or not we can get another trade above today's high in the coming sessions. But it held the gap, and now we'll see if it could do it for a few days, kind of like what happened with LinkedIn. LinkedIn, gapped up, gave you 2 inside days, and then gave you some nice trades. I know Sperling was all over it. Gapped up, held it for 2 days. You could have been a buyer, versed the gap, and boom, the nice buy versus it, and then you could have also had a momentum buy as it cleared the 2-day pivot. So now, if Facebook holds up, you'll probably get a gap up tomorrow, which maybe you trim some. Just to show you on Amazon how some strategies are the same. Same thing happened here. You had a gap up after earnings. The following day, it held the gap. So if you went long swing trade versus this pivot, you've been sitting in a really nice trade. Besides, 2 different little buy areas, one above this prior earnings high and one above this. So lots of different ways to skin that cat. As far as the banks, tried to have a push today and just wasn't enough life. I guess we'll see what happens on the jobs report. Goldman, perked up. Didn't have much power, but it's still trending above the 8-day. JP Morgan, I came in long. I sold it. Also, been trying to hold this thing for a little bit. I just wasn't in the mood to sit in it anymore. We caught a little bit of a cute short, which I had in my note on the XLE. Still didn't fall apart. Nothing really fell apart today. Things just kind of pulled back. And now you'll see if they can do some sideways action here to maybe go again. But all in all, it was up 10 cents, I think, when we shorted it and wound up going down $1. Some people, you pick and chose where you wanted to cover and, need some time to let some of these moving averages catch up. So that was, your cute trade. I think the OAHs did the same thing. A little bit of an inside day, didn't fall apart. If you bought here, you had a nice 2-day move, and now you'll see if it could digest above this spot to perhaps give you continuation or not. The USO, after the inventories report, some of us got short a little bit, including me. I didn't take it home short, but we'll see what happens here with oil. Traded below a prior low, so maybe it starts leaking again or not. Here is a little bit bigger support. This bigger support comes in a little bit closer to 1457. What else? What were guys doing? Some guys were in Baidu. That was strong. Look at that. I listed this in my note right around here. So if you took some options or you bought it, you just had a really nice move. Bob is still strong, trending up above all the moving averages. Look at this igniting bar down here. This is what ignited this move. More important than this was it held the top third of it for a while before, taking out this pivot. And then since then, it's been above the 8-day moving average, which is your momentum trend. What else were people doing or looking at today? Oh, Microsoft was a little wishy-washy. I came in long Microsoft. It had a nice little move. Actually sold into the strength. But my plan today was, came in long. I wanted to, sell some strength. I was short the spiders as a hedge. Wanted to maybe turn the hedge into a net short position for a Q trade, and pretty much worked out. And at this point, a lot of mixed signals. Market pulled in, but your Amazons, your Googles, your Netflixes. Netflix has been solid as a rock. Look at Netflix. It too, closed on the highs today. Not giving much of a pullback. The clear, just descending channel. We listed it down here. I wish I was still long it. And then now look where it is, and it's coming up into old resistance. So you'll see how this handles it tomorrow. But Netflix is back in the fang, I guess we need some leaders there, etc. As far as the bios, didn't fall apart, but came in inside day. This market's not falling apart. It's just methodically stair-stepping higher. You've been able to make some Q money short, but if you press these levels, you're getting hurt. So at this point, then don't press the levels. If you make Q money short, make Q money short. Just don't press the actual support. Just short into some strength. If you look at this now, starting to do some work above this descending channel here on the right side. So we'll see if that continues. So at this point, we're 13% off the lows. There's been lots of go-to names. Hopefully my note that has over 20, 25 ideas each day on how to approach the fastest names out there has helped you with your game plan. I know, for me, I've been picking 3 or 4 of them, and it's been decent using a tier system. At this point, I'm a little bit conflicted because every time I turn, everyone's telling me, don't get caught at the highs of the market, don't get bagged. And every time you think that maybe we get the pullback, it doesn't happen. If you look at individual stocks, though, there have been names that keep setting up for nice pivots. If you're looking to be short, not saying you want to short VRX, but you look at some of these things, this is on the dead lows, okay? With just like disaster, okay? I don't know if you could short it, but I guess some guys I was talking to said you want to go out short, you want to be short something like this, or you want to be short something like PBR, not PBR. What was NBR? No, not NBR, but these actually look all right. SKX. Let's see. Skechers. This looks pretty bad. Big gap down, didn't fill it, turned lower. But I personally don't like these continuation to the downside trades because I feel like I'm trying to get, the last little scraps off the bone. And typically something like this could turn into like a red dog reversal if it were to, trade below it and then, come back above it and give you a tail or so. So anyway, that's not my style. But I guess until a trend changes, trying to short into strength or look for a potential change of composure, that could be just as bad. You look at the spiders here. Spiders, still as overbought as they are, just trending higher. Here's your 8-day moving average from the gap. So I'd love to see a little bit of a retest of this. Do we have it overnight? Who knows? At this point, get your little sideways action. Every time it stair steps, it holds. So we'll see what happens this time. And I'm going to the financial festival, and I know I was just talking to one of the moderators of one of the panels we're on. Like, what's your prediction for the year end? How do you have a prediction for year end? We're going into a seasonally strong part where buybacks come back into the mega caps, and the mega caps have been the strongest. We've already had a 13% move off the lows. Do I think we have another 13%? No. But could we go back to the highs of the year where you already have technology there? Perhaps. Do we do it from here, or do we do it from a little bit of a shaking of the tree? If I were to go over this chart, you look at the chart, I'd say you got to just take it step by step. As long as we stay above the 8-day, this ascending channel is going to be pretty fast and furious, not giving you a lot of time. If we were to break below this, maybe you get a retest of this area where the 200-day is, which is about 204 to 206. In my humble opinion, I do not think I would say, this would be like support 1, support 2, support 3. And I do not think that this gets breached going into year end. I don't. I think if we're lucky, we get a pullback to something like this and then come back to here and maybe go a little bit higher. I think that, the street wants liftoff, even though the media is not making like it does, because that would, help get that overhang out of the way, and that could push us back towards the highs. The question is, do we go straight up in this ascending channel? Do we perhaps break this to test this spot, or test that spot? The jury's out. So just do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Do what you could sleep at night with, whether it's long or short. And whatever you do, if you're frustrated and you're fighting the tape and you're revenge trading, take a step back, cool off, just get back involved, make a little bit of money, get yourself back on track, and then, you'll see some greener pastures. So with all that said, I'll be on Twitter, heading out to Miami tomorrow. Sperlin's doing the morning call, then he's going out to Miami. Guys, I wish I wish everyone can go. We've been talking about this for a long time. I'm looking forward to hanging out with Josh Brown and JC and Santoli, Maudlin, like the Stout. There's so many guys going to this thing, and and I'm proud that they're going underneath the T3 Live umbrella, which is our company that we've been working on for 7-8 years, and it's awesome to see such great sponsors like TradeStation, Ameritrade. E-Trade. There's so many big companies out there that are sponsoring this event with big name guys, and it's good to see. So with all that said, which I think I've said a few times, I will be trading probably from Short Hills tomorrow morning, and then I will be out to Miami, and I'll see a lot of you there. And if you still are on the fence, go to the site and buy a ticket and motivate. Motivation. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.